All right, good afternoon and welcome to the market recap. I'm John Hoagland, standing in for Dan the Man Hodgman. Thanks for trusting me with your time. I know Dan is missing everybody, and I know everybody misses Dan, but he'll be back in a couple of weeks. One announcement next week. We won't have any forecasts or recap for the week of the Independence Day holiday. I'm going to be taking a little time off. Dan's going to be taking a little time off, and we suggest you do too. It's important to make sure you rest yourself and get your batteries recharged from time to time in futures trading. And what an interesting trading day for us today. A lot of traders noticing smaller ranges. In many of our markets, we're very short time frame controlled today. Taking a look at crude oil, the opening range was the high of the regular trading hour session, taking price from pretty much last week's high to almost the weekly kickoff low today. A pretty decent move to the downside for those of you that noticed at the opening range. We talked about that, I think, in the forecast. We said, I think the opening range is the high of the session. That is very interesting. Hopefully, you were able to take advantage of that if you were in the right seat at the right time. The equities was a tale of two different markets today, it seemed. The S&Ps took one little peek over the opening range and started breaking, and they turned around and recovered and actually ended up putting in a new all-time high in the September contract above the recent overnight all-time high. The NASDAQ drove right from the opening range higher all day long for in large part. And there was some kind of reason for that. We'll talk about that as we get into some of the news that came out today. Gold marries that range-bound activity. Previous naked point of control brings support to continue balance in the euro and the 10-year. We had some overnight longs that continued to get paid as price continued to rise to recheck another naked point of control. It's amazing how visual these markets are and how many opportunities those naked points of control do provide us to exit or enter trades. As always, make sure you like, share, comment, question, feedback, and heckling are always welcome here at the Market Forecast. We just had quite a storm here in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. It looked like I was going to lose power a couple of times. I feel like I'm lucky to be here. We've had so many nasty storms here for the past few days, just passing nasty thunderstorms. Was moving my daughter downtown on Saturday, and there was rumors of water spouts out on Lake Michigan and a number of different tornadoes kind of being seen around the area. So hopefully everybody is safe as always. I've got to say hello and good afternoon to everybody. Good morning, Bill, Norman, Sean, Greg H. Lemur. It was great to talk to you today. Murph, yes, hope everybody did well today. It was, a little more challenging, a little rangier. Folks that tend to like range trade. It's a different mindset now when the markets are a little bit smaller and a little bit more range bound. It's not necessarily that there's less opportunity. It's the adjustment in our trading plans and our realization that some of the opportunities might not be as great. We're going to have reasonable profit targets for the time being. We are coming into the Independence Day holiday week. Probably going to see some lower participation, perhaps some smaller ranges. Sometimes with that lower participation, if something does go a little bit haywire, markets might actually get a lot bigger because there's a lack of liquidity in those types of situations. So it's always in how we are able to adjust our minds and our ability to adjust to the market state that is so important when market states start to change. Is this going to last all summer? Nobody can judge that. Nobody can predict that. I mean, there's still a lot of uncertainty in the world geopolitically and physically, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we're all, I'm sure, hopeful that this pandemic is going to be over and over for us soon, but we don't know what's going to happen or how things are going to play out with that. We're all just predicting price movement at some point in the future, trying to make a little money. So, former Vice President Joe Biden, summer is here. Patience, patience, patience. And forget the rest, but stay disciplined, folks. I forget the rest. Yes. Yes, stay disciplined, folks. Yes. So let's jump in and take a look at the charts here. There's some really good, fascinating, short time frame levels that really held nicely today. Even in crude oil, I'm looking at the daily. We had a pretty decent pullback in crude oil. We've got almost a $2 range today in extended trading hours, of course. But last week's high was pretty decent resistance for us in the regular trading hours and taking, again, the market relatively close to weekly kickoff low. Let's take a look. So we have the daily here. This morning we were looking at the fact that volume was higher on Friday. It's a little bit higher today, but on a pullback, that's to be expected. Losing 3,300 in open interest on Friday. Hey, maybe some folks starting to take some profits before this Thursday OPEC meeting. So here's last week's high, our high from the overnight, really right up to it, and then a little bit through it. But when we opened this morning, we opened in range and value. Seeing this morning, we said it looks like maybe the opening range is the high of the session. We didn't really have any overnight inventory with which to work with. The market did test to the point of control from Friday, just before the open, and then that opening range at the upper extreme just kept pressure on this market all day long, bringing, where did we get to? Well, we didn't get very close to, but we may be headed for a test of weekly kickoff low, which is yet another naked point of control. So this is all short time frame control, short time frame levels, really kind of controlling price. We're not seeing a lot of longer time frame participation in this. Therefore, some of these smaller, shorter time frame levels are being respected. I'm going to be looking forward to perhaps seeing if we get an opportunity at this weekly kickoff low / naked point of control tomorrow for a potential opportunity. Now, let's take a look at the S&Ps. So we were saying we had pretty stable volume for the past few sessions as the market continued to move higher, and that was true. We lost open interest on Friday. We lost 6,400 in open interest. It continues to drop, so it's kind of telling me that at some point here we're going to need to kind of bring participants back into this market at some point. Which direction are they going to be going? We're losing open interest as the market continues to move higher, which would indicate some short covering, which takes buying power away from the marketplace. But it didn't hurt things for us today as the market opened to the downside but recovered and ended up finishing the day with an all-time high in the September contract that occurred in the regular trading hour period. Let's take a look. So this is such a different picture than the NASDAQ. And so the market opens basically last week's high, rejects it, trades lower, value low, pretty decent risk limiter if we were going to be looking for longs today. We were saying that the market opened in basically I guess to a degree, a late spike, which would bring price higher. It's showing acceptance of higher price when we open up there. But we had to take out a bunch of perhaps some longs before we were able to actually achieve putting in that new all-time high in the September contract above the overnight high, the overnight all-time high that occurred just last night. We talk about the fact that the market does not like to leave all-time highs that have occurred in the extended trading hours as the all-time highs. So, well, we finally did that today. Boy, that was quite the grind. It was an all day, well, a half a day sucker if you were looking for opportunities near this value area low from Friday for a long, but you had a long time to wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2.5 hours it took for us to go from low to high. Boy, when you have risk on, that 2.5 hours can seem like a month. Here's the NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ has been much more organized to the upside of late for the last week or so. Open interest was moot. We lost 300 on Friday, but been maintaining volume, which has been pretty good. Mentioning this morning, there's no reason to doubt that this market can continue to move to the upside. It's been very resilient. And like I said, the move to the upside has been organized. I guess that's the right thing to say. I mean, there's only a couple of little holes for a potential pullback. We've got, okay, this was a naked point of control that we checked this morning. We had one above and a couple three below. These are the kind of weakness areas that we look for if the market does turn around. But the market opened, drove right above that naked point of control, drove right through last week's high, and then just continued to push higher. So these are very resilient markets. There's no reason to doubt what they can accomplish to the upside. We've seen it for 40 years, and we continue to see it now. The gold, balance, 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 balance. Tough trade. The market did leave, some unfinished auctions to the upside in the regular trading hour session today, but it was just a very kind of range-bound, difficult day to really look for opportunities. The double top that we put in the regular trading hour session here, not necessarily indicative of a finished downside, or excuse me, a finished upside auction. This area right here, I mean, look at all the lows right here. Look at all the lows. So between here and the low from the overnight last night, it was really kind of a target-rich environment. You can almost see the fish swimming around there. It didn't get very deep into it before it turned around. We did not have necessarily much of a gap. It closed relatively early. So the market kind of comes back into range. Doesn't really accept inside of value from yesterday. I'm finding that interesting. And it leaves an unfinished upside auction at the high of the day. It's going to be another interesting day for us tomorrow. If we can take out the high from yesterday and reaccept inside of the value from the previous day, then we may see the market continue to push up to the upside where there is, I did not have this on here yet, but there is another naked point of control. We saw how many of those were checked today, and we've got even more to show you. So range bound, balance, chop, whatever you want to call it, that's where we are. There's a strategy that can help you navigate those markets. It's more reversion trade, fading extremes. I like those days because you can really limit your risk. Here's the euro, range bound still. What happens in gold seems to be happening in the euro. Open interest was not a big factor on Friday. Volume was pretty low the last couple of sessions. A little bit of an increase in it today. The 30-minute chart, what's that going to show us? Well, here we go. We have the market trading right to a naked point of control before the open, and then leaving that point of control, coming back into range, back to settlement, back almost to value from Friday. Now look what we have above. We have another naked point of control that could be rechecked relatively soon. So I'm going to put that on there. Now we've got a couple of levels up here to look for opportunities. And into the 10-year. Again, short time frame control, range bound overall. We've been, kind of putting up higher lows, higher highs over time. We're more in an area of digestion here than direction. The 30-minute chart. Hey, look where we got to today. Another naked point of control puts in our high for today. Noticing this morning that we had some pretty decent overnight longs, but they never let go. They never gave in and drove price lower. They were confident in this move to the upside, and they continued to get paid. What do you think they may have been looking at? Do you think the traders were focused on this naked point of control here? And when traders are focused on a level, they tend to make price go to that level? Could it be? Could it be? All right. Hey, James. Bob, good to see you. Bob has a fib projection just shy of 4,300, and we've got a weekly kickoff high a little bit more aggressive than that. We're looking up to 4,360 on more of a measured move than a fib, but it's going to be interesting to see how this thing continues to go, how it goes. Thanks for that information and that thought, Bob. Tanya, it's good to see you. Nice to see you with us today. So it looks like the storm is over. In the time that I've been doing this market forecast, it has been an abject downpour to now the sun coming out. Don't you just love weather in Chicago? All right, let's take a look at the news. The news today. Hey, Facebook hits $1 trillion market cap for the first time. Kind of funny that happens on the same day a judge dismisses an FTC antitrust complaint against Facebook. There was a comment. Well, Justice Clarence Thomas of the Supreme Court says federal marijuana laws may be outdated. Do you think? Here's something else that I saw a little bit earlier. Fed Vice Chair Quartles cast significant doubt on establishing a digital dollar. Interesting. What'd that do to the Bitcoin today? Up almost 3%, nothing tremendous. It was pretty steady, kind of range-bound day, even in Bitcoin. Stocks apparently making some of the biggest moves of the day. Boeing, Intelia, and Royal Caribbean. I guess the cruise industry is hoping to get fired back up in a big way. I think it was this weekend where one of the first cruise ships left Miami this weekend. So getting back into business there. Juul, the popular vape pen, I guess, for those trying to quit smoking or addicted to nicotine to one degree or another, has agreed to a $40 million settlement in a North Carolina teen marketing lawsuit. Not good news for them. And that's going to be pretty much it. A lot of politics, a lot of arguing and scheduling and arguing, and this day in history. That's the music one. Hang on. All right. There was something cool here. 2007, this date, the bald eagle is removed from the list of threatened species. The bald eagle, one of the symbols of America. In 1953, June 28th, workers at the Chevy plant in Flint, Michigan, assembled the first Corvette. How cool is that? If you guys remember this, Mike Tyson and Holyfield. Mike Tyson bit the ear of Evander Holyfield during a bout. Crazy. That's about it. What about in music? What happened in music? 1975, the Eagles started a 5 week run at number one on the U.S. album chart with their fourth album, studio album, One of These Nights. Kind of funny. One of These Nights is the name of a Eagles tribute band that I saw at a bar not too far from here weekend before this. And apparently, in the life of Led Zeppelin, nothing happened today. They usually like to have something about Led Zeppelin here. Birthdays 89, Kelly Pickler was born today. Other than that, not that much going on. Something about Wham, but I don't remember Wham. I don't know about you. Former Vice President, any word on Bitcoin futures in the Top Step pipeline? Always being monitored, always being considered, and always in so far tech development. So when it's ready, we'll let you know. I don't have any timeline or expectation as to when that's going to happen. It's always on our mind, though. We want to bring the products that our traders want to trade to them, of course. Hello, PK. Blue Sky. Good to see everybody. Blue Sky, it's great. Glad to see you here and outside. We just had a nasty storm. So, all right. On that note, I'm going to do my homework for tomorrow. Be up early to do my homework for tomorrow again, and we'll look for opportunities. Tomorrow, we will be doing the coach's playbook as well as the forecast and the recap. We'll look forward to seeing you there. And don't forget about group coaching this Wednesday. And let me put that link in. So in case you want to join us, here's the group coaching Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central. Look forward to seeing you there. Other than that, see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Get some rest. Be good to each other. Say a prayer for world peace and say a prayer for the people of Florida. What an unbelievable thing that was. I've been kind of praying constantly. But anyways, have a good night. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. It's all a lie. Thoughts on CME doing away with the reason that was put in place was it was to allow traders to even up if we were still stuck at the 315 close. So the market would close at 315 and then it would reopen and give traders an opportunity to even up. It was something that was called curb trading, and it was illegal if you were, the only time and place that you're allowed to take trades in the S&Ps is in the S&Ps during the allotted trading hours. So they added that extra session after the close, even before electronic trading, so that it would give people an opportunity to legally even up if they were still stuck at the end of the day. So I think it was actually initially would close at 315, would open at 320, and then close at 330 again, and then open the following morning at 8:30. So it was a big deal then. To me, it doesn't really make much of a difference. I'm done trading at 3:00 the vast majority of the time anyway. The New York Stock Exchange is closing at 3:00. There's really usually not much to do after 3:00 in these markets. I get it. Sometimes you'll get that rush into the electronic close, but I don't think it really makes that much of a difference to me. It's a really good question. It's all a lie. Juan Palomino, hey John, look at the bounce in the RTY at the point of control from days ago. Outstanding. You know what? I've got to put that on my on my platform here that I use for the market forecast and recap. Hopefully, Juan, that's something you were able to take advantage of. That would make me very happy. All right. No problem, Bill. All right. See you tomorrow. Stay clean, stay good, get some rest. Keep praying for all of us. And we'll see you in the morning, 8 o'clock for the market forecast. Until then, we'll see you later.